Patrick Keeling, are you ready to tee it up?
Ready to go.
Always ready to go. Welcome to Paddy Talks Golf. Delighted to have you on. Congratulations on a nice week in Seapoint.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was fun. Very fun week. Very, very, very grateful. Delighted to have got it done. So yeah, nice welcome home.
Almost like a home game. We'll get into that in a second. I have to be upfront with you. We're doing this one remotely. And I like to sit across from someone, look at you right into the back of your eyeball sockets and get the truth from you. So you might be able to hide a couple of things from me today. But I don't think we're total strangers. I don't think you remember Rosapenna 2023. You won that week. Yeah. I was in the field, the bottom end of it. I hadn't played any of the courses before. But I remember watching you playing that week. And I was like, why is he 2 Ireland flags on the sleeve? What's that mean? And also I was like, oh yeah, well, like Hugh Foley was in his pomp back then. Don't know about it anymore. Made in Hollywood and all
he
that.
Still got
Made
it.
in Hollywood and all that.
He still got it.
He still got it. Not everyone is US Mid-Am champ. But, you know, I'd heard of the Keeling brothers. I hadn't seen either of you in the flesh, and you rocked up and you bet, you know, we'll say one of the best amateurs in the country in that given year. So I was like, I'm going to keep an eye on this fella. And then when Seapoint happened, I thought, we've shared the odd DM over and back now and then. Let's get him on. Hopefully it's the time for a little old Paddy these days. So thank you.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, we share the same name, so pretty much. Two Paddies.
The 2 Paddies. There's another podcast called The 2 Johnnies that might be called copyright. If we kicked off on that. Rosapenna 2023. You don't have to walk me through that whole week, but it's a special place, isn't it? Sandy Hills, Old Tom, St. Patrick's now, great name. But have you a connection with Donegal, or what's the story there?
Yeah, my mom's from Donegal, so we kind of grew up going up there a lot. And then Jeff, my old coach, we used to go up there all the time for Halloween week. You know, we'd have the week off school, so we go up there, play lots of golf, and obviously that time of year you're not having you know, the best of weather most of the time. But so got used to hitting a lot of wind shots, and just kind of grew up always going to Donegal. Feels like a home away from home. So always loved going up there and seeing everyone, revisiting those memories. I always loved playing Sandy Hills. You know, I've always seemed to have played well there in the past. So yeah, special place.
It's tough in the winter. There's something about a week in Rosapenna, away up in Donegal, middle of nowhere. It's just the golf, the people around. I think it reveals a lot about you as a player, maybe as a person, where your head is at, how you can handle moments when it's on the line. But I think there's a version of Patrick Keeling that the Irish golf world is only properly meeting now for the first time, maybe after Seapoint. But I want to know where it all came from. The family, the journey, Louisville. I remember I had John Murphy on this podcast and I kept calling it something else. The memories is all of it, right? So let's go back to the beginning, okay? What is your earliest memory in golf?
Earliest memory. I know there's videos now. I don't know if I would have remembered this, but my parents had like a camcorder for a lot of our childhood. They had it on record. So there's videos of me, you know, with a plastic set of clubs, just hitting balls in the garden, hitting it against the wall, hitting plastic balls, obviously, you know, just health and safety reasons. And if I missed it right-handed, I'd just go swing it left-handed. I'd make the swing, and then if I missed it, I'd swing it left-handed. So played a lot of hurling, a lot of Gaelic football, rugby, soccer, a bit of everything growing up. So I think that's important too, you know, not getting all the eggs in one basket too early. You know, I think I was lucky enough to have, you know, a lot of siblings who are, you know, all very athletic, and, you know, parents, you know, got us into sports and the community from a young age. So I think that we all have that competitive edge. You know, it gets pretty loud in the household whenever there's any sort of competition on the cards.
Only because there's a good friend at work, and he says it multiple times a day. But is the "whose horse is that" meme, is that common in the family WhatsApp group? Given your sister is, what is it, 1.48? I have no idea what that means. 1.48 meters Grand Prix level show jumper. Is that meme going around the family WhatsApp group?
Yeah. My little sister, she's probably the best athlete in the family. So we're all trying to be more like her, really. Yeah, she's just great at every sport she does, but that's her one she's most focused on right now. So yeah, it's cool. Very proud of her as well.
You landed back from Louisville on the Monday, and by Sunday you were walking up the 18th at Seapoint with a national championship on the line. Most people, I think a lot of people need like 2 weeks to get over the jet lag. What was the first week
Yeah.
back actually like? And was there even a moment to stop and breathe before it all started?
Yeah, I mean, my youngest brother is very into his, his diet and all his health stuff, and he reads a lot of books, and he's been big on, grounding, just getting out and walking around in the bare feet, walking on the grass. I think it's supposed to be good for jet lag. So I tried it just, in the mornings I'd be walking around barefoot, and then just getting into my routine, trying to get to bed as early as I could, really. Put the phone away an hour or two before bed if I can, because, that just makes the jet lag even worse, if you're scrolling on your phone or whatever. So no, that's been a big help too. And yeah, I think it was just like, it was almost a blessing in disguise because, I didn't really have a whole lot of time to think. It was just like, I'm excited. I haven't played a tournament in so long. I'm ready to go. My game feels good. So let's go and see what we can do. There was no real expectations, but yeah, glad to have pulled it off in the way that I did. So yeah, it was fun.
Definitely fun. It looked like fun from the coverage I saw from
Yeah,
Murphy and Co. That's
yeah.
62 on the Friday, course record. Take me through the round. Not like shot by shot highlight reel version. Walk me through what was kind of happening in your head as the numbers came up on the board and were like, it's Tom, isn't it? Your caddy. I think he was
Tom.
caddy for in
Yeah,
Rosapenna as well, was he?
he is.
3 years
Yeah.
ago.
Best caddy on the circuit. Yeah. He's always been around. Yeah. So
So
but yeah, no, just
was he mentioning the
uh,
score? Did it come up for conversation? What was happening in the head as the numbers kept coming onto the board?
yeah, no, it was like, I mean, I was 3 under through 8, so I was going pretty good, but you're not really, thinking about it overly yet. And then I chipped in for eagle on my ninth hole, which was the 18th, the par five. So that kind of, you know, got it going. I was like, oh, I'm doing pretty good here. And then I birdied 2 and 3, which was my 11th and 12th hole, and then all of a sudden I'm 7 under through 11, and then on the fourth hole I missed a 4 footer for birdie, but I had two par fives coming up and managed to birdie both of those. But after the seventh hole, I said to Tom, I was like, because I was 8 under with 2 holes to go, and I said, Tom, I've never shot double digits under par before. I'm gonna birdie these last 2 holes. Obviously that ninth hole was a tough par three. It's a 4 iron into the wind, but it was just one of those days where managed to stay out of my own way for the most part and just react to what I saw, because I've shot some low rounds before, and in the last couple of months shot a decent few pretty low rounds over in the States in qualifying, but you know the team, everyone's so good. Everyone's shooting scores like that on our team. Like, they just finished second at regionals, so they've made nationals. So, but yeah, no, it was a blessing in disguise, I think, for me, not making the team and getting to come home and, obviously win the Irish amateurs. I think that just that level of competition is really, really crucial for your game. Being surrounded by that all the time, but managed. I didn't look at leaderboards all day. We just kind of kept saying to Tom, "All right, staying in the bubble, staying in the bubble. It's just me and you. Me against me. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing." And yeah, we managed to just stay in that on the second round in particular. So yeah, it was a good day. I'll remember that
Deadly.
one for a while.
Deadly. That was a good day at the
Yeah,
office, that was. Um,
yeah.
something that honestly, like surprised me, and I think like opened my eyes to it a little bit in terms of, yeah, it's fine for people to be open about it. But something you've been very open about is your faith and what Find the Belief in Christ has done for you on and off the course. How does that translate into a golf shot? Like when you're standing over 12-foot putt to win a national championship, what does that faith look like internally?
Yeah. I would say I mean, every day is, a battle, and you're kind of making decisions to follow a faith or, to follow, something else. But I think in that moment of, the last green, I think, it's been months of, going to church, being plugged in with, small groups, just learn more, read the entire Old Testament or New Testament, sorry, last summer, and been kind of, doing a lot of reading on that. But I think, overall it's like, it's becoming more and more every day. That's becoming where my identity is. And, the fact that I just had such a calmness on that last round. But I think just the last putt in general, I was praying before I hit the putt. I was like, God, like, no matter what happens here, if I miss, so be it. That's going to be it's going to be what it's going to be, but just help me to be okay with whatever the outcome is. Let your will be done and let me be okay with it. And then, I was still nervous, but my mindset going into the putt was no matter what happens here, I'm going to react in a way that's reflective of faith in Christ. And, I try to carry that with every shot. And sometimes I definitely fail and, get angry. And that's, human nature to an extent. So I think just, trying to have that same approach to every shot, the more I can do that, I think, you know, just the more it's not that it's going to lower your scores. That's not why you're doing it. I do it because I think, it's a truth, and I've seen the fruits of it in my life. And, I neglected it so much at the start. I was very hesitant, about it. But I think just the more and more I learned about it, it was like I can't deny this anymore. And then there was one parable from the Bible that kind of was playing on my mind, and it was when the parable is Jesus walks on water, and Peter, his disciple, he tells him, "Come, like walk on the water with me." And Peter's got his eyes fixed on Jesus, and when he's got his eyes fixed on him, he's walking on the water, and then all of a sudden, it says that the storm comes, the wind blows, and he takes his eyes off of Jesus and he starts to sink. So I think that's like kind of reflective of, when I've got my eyes fixed on things above, when I've got my eyes fixed on Christ, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, is another Bible verse. But I think, when all this calamity happens and all these storms and chaos is going on around you, it's very easy to look around. But I think the beauty of it is when Peter began to sink, Jesus reached in and he picked him back up, you know. So I think that's just what it's all about. When we do fall short, Christ wants us to come to him, like the story of the prodigal son, just to return. That's just how much he loves us. And I think the more I've realized how much Christ loves me, I think that just, inspires me to live out of faith and to love him more. So I think that's been crucial, more off the golf course stuff. And then, in turn, if it bleeds on the course, great. If not, I feel like I've won already.
I was checking here. I don't know if you plan on playing this out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
If you do, I'll have to bring you out to the priest out in the scanner, because I think he could on like a house on fire. To be quite
Class.
honest.
Yeah, lovely. I'd love that.
I'll take care of it, right? You leave that up to me. My
Yeah,
mother,
yeah.
my mother still bakes in baked goods every Sunday, scones and apple tarts and everything. So you can share an apple tart and a
Wow.
cup of tea together.
Class.
Out in the
Class.
scanner. Simpson, Scotty Scheffler, Jordan Spieth, Stuart Singh, Cameron Young, Bernard Langer, all very outspoken about their devotion. So, there's something in it. And I think there might be the odd comment here and there about, oh yeah, Christian faith, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, like that would have been me.
Would it have been you before?
Yeah, I mean, like maybe not like outspokenly, like, or commenting on, stuff and, spreading hate. But I think I definitely, my parents,
Yeah.
raised me with a faith. We went to church all the time, but I think it didn't become my own. I didn't really, the hardest thing is feeling the need for a savior, because it's so easy to be like, oh, like I like my life how it is. I don't need that. I think, yeah, the more I look just deep diving into, history of the resurrection, all that stuff, and like doing my own research and not just, taking one source. Like I'd listen to atheists debating Christians and all these guys, and then, just started seeing it actually to take fruit and to actually, come out in my life. And then that was the evidence to me. And it's like, I can't deny this anymore. Like, like I have to do this. And, I never want to look back now, which is mad. Like I wouldn't have thought, going over to America that this would be, the best thing that I get from it, but it's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Deadly. No, good on you. Good on you. Like you said, you're at Louisville on a golf scholarship. What a segue, because I sent you these questions beforehand. So what a segue. Thank you for that. And I want to know what that adjustment is actually like. I joke around how Beth Coulter was, she's from near Kirkstown Castle, and it was kind of a big deal going to Belfast because there's a Starbucks there, right? And then like first day on campus in Arizona State, and there's a Starbucks on campus. And it's like, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
So I want to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
your view of like the adjustment is like, not the PR version, but the real version. An Irish kid alone in Kentucky competing against one of the best college golfers in America. What has college golf in the States been like for your game and for your head?
Yeah. I think going there, I was a bit like a deer in the headlights. I had a broken wrist, so I couldn't play most of my first year. And, I indulged in everything, all the social events, all the parties, that was kind of what I was known for, even over there was, Mr. Social. And yeah, I think I was kind of like a deer in the headlights, like naive, but I was open to everything, just trying everything out. But I think getting into competition of golf wise, I think it was a bit of a rude awakening first couple of years. And, even this year, it's like, I definitely think the level in Ireland doesn't get the credit it deserves. Like there's so many really good players, and like the strength of power and the wagger for the tournaments just isn't right in my opinion. Like it should be a lot stronger in Ireland, but I think also like if you look nowadays, the States, pretty much all of the best, juniors aspiring professionals are going over now, or the majority. And, I think there's so many over in the States, and there's so many from, Asia who go to college in the States as well. And, if that's where all the best players are going, that's where I want to be because, if I want to be one of the best players in the world, I'm going to have to beat all these people eventually. So why not, get a taster for it early, get used to, I think one of the big things is adjusting to the different grass types. You're on Bermuda one week, then you're on Zoysia, then you're on Bent, and it's random, different conditions because the country's so big. Like everyone thinks, I thought, oh, it's just going to be sunny all the time, but like some places it's mad windy, rainy, some places it's sunny. You just have to be, very just quick to adjust all the time, ready to adapt. But then also like I struggle with, remember what got you there in the first place, what got you to the level you're at. And then it's just kind of fine tuning and don't be searching too much. I'd say if there's, young lads going over it, it takes a bit of adjusting to, got to be patient with yourself, just ask loads of questions. And yeah, I'd say that's some of my biggest learnings from it.
No, definitely. Always ask questions. And sometimes I get the odd message about,
Yeah.
should I stay here or should I go to America? And whether that's for a scholarship or whether it's for an assistant PGA pro job. And, maybe 4 or 5 times a year, someone feels the need to send Paddy a DM and ask my opinion. But I'm just like, go. Ireland will be here. If you don't like it in 2 or 3
Yeah.
weeks, Ireland will still
Try it
be
out.
here.
Worst case,
We'll all
you
still
come
be
home
here.
and it's,
The boys and girls.
yeah.
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 And you sit back at the same bar stool, or you come back into the same pool
Yeah.
table with the same lads and ladies.
Yeah.
Go do it. Don't regret it. Absolutely don't regret it. Louisville are they in regionals or in final stage championships? What stage did you say they were in now?
Yeah, so they just finished second at regionals. Now the top 5 out of like 13 teams got into nationals. They're straight into nationals. They actually beat Auburn this week, so that was a big win from the boys because Auburn's the number 1 team in the country. So that was a very, very solid result.
And you're here in Ireland, and the college season and kind of the Irish amateur season are almost running a bit simultaneously for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
And do you ever feel pulled between life here and maybe like trying to squeeze onto the team over there?
Yeah, it was like, I'd love to be playing over there. The strength of the events, the players is great, but I'd entered the Irish Am, just in case. You never know what happens in golf. It was I think a lot of times, good things come when we least expect it, and that was something that maybe I thought was a negative that I didn't get picked on the team, and it turned out to be a positive. My name is on the trophy of the Irish amateur for forever. And that's like, I still can't believe it. It's down on the kitchen table. I'm like, look at all these names. It's very hard to believe. But yeah, there's definitely, I do wish I was there competing with the boys, with my team, but I'll be rooting them on from here, be cheering them on, and hopefully they can go all the way and we can push on next year and I can be a part of a team and go compete for a national championship again.
Have you 1 year left, or what's your story with college golf?
1 year as of now. 1 year as of now, but I think they're considering giving, all athletes 5 years. So I could have 2 more years, but that'd be kind of, up to me or up to the coach. Like if I want to take a 5th year, or I could just come home and do whatever. We'll see. That's all up in the air right now.
It's all right.
Just trying to take it day by day. Yeah.
We won't mention it just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case it doesn't shine the brightest light. I just pulled up. You've probably gone over all these names, but just to give people listening, I suppose, the gravity of what winning a men's championship in Ireland, such as the Flogas Irish Amateur Close. John Burke won it 8 times. JB Carr won it 6 times. Eddie Power 3 times. Then you get to some names you might recognise. Cecil Ewing. Rory McIlroy won it twice. Stewie Grehan. Robbie Cannon. Cormac Sharvin. Chris Selfridge, who almost won a major because he was caddying in it last week, in Matty Schmidt.
Yes. Yeah,
Shane Lowry.
With Louisville alum, Matty Schmidt.
Exactly, with Matty Smitty, Paul McGinley, they're all there. Gareth McGimsey, Ronan Rafferty. Jesus Christ. Like, that is the history there in Irish golf, all on one trophies. I'm not sure if all those names are on the trophy, but you're the man to ask that question. But you went to Portrush the week after Seapoint, your favourite course in the world. You just won a national championship. The momentum was there. Top 10, was it ninth or tied ninth? Which any week is a great week.
Yeah.
How do you process a week like that when it comes right on the heels of something so brilliant?
Yeah, I think it was, I didn't really have a whole lot of time to soak it in or celebrate. So I was straight up to Portrush the next morning to walk the valley because I hadn't seen that course. But it was blowing a lot. I think it was probably 40 mph the first two rounds, and I missed a lot of putts that first day. I was struggling in the wind, but I ball struck it really well. And I think I was actually saying this to Tom. I was like, I don't want to come in here, because I think it's very easy, say after a win to, expect that to be your standard. But it's like, look, I just had one great week. This is a new week. I'm starting a level par again. And, I don't expect anything. The reason I played well the week before was, I didn't have any expectations. Why should I go in here, expecting anything different? That was kind of the overarching theme that we were trying to focus on. And, your brain is still in the week before, because I'm like, I can't believe that happened. I'll now have to go play another tournament. But yeah, just tried to, stay in every shot again. And just, I think my faith definitely humbles me. I think in the past, probably would have been out there, shaping around, thinking on the man. But I think, definitely, a lesson I learned from the Bible, it says, those who humble themselves will be exalted, and those who exalt themselves will be humbled. So just, don't get too big for your boots, I think is the lesson from that.
Chill the beans, Patrick. I think that's what it means. I think it means chill the beans. You spoke previously, America's, especially like for qualifying rounds, as in qualifying to be in the team, there might be 4 rounds or 6 round qualifiers across the week or whatever to get on the team. And you'd be good for 4 rounds, maybe not the 5th one, you'd dip, and that might be why you get selected. So I think kind of a big 2 fingers, as we'd say in Kilfenora, where I'm from, a big 2 fingers is like you backed up a win with a level of consistency in difficult conditions over, 3, maybe 7 rounds of golf in total. And you're number 1, I'm looking at it now, in the order of merit at the moment. So consistency is key. You've won the Irish Amateur. You're down in the history books. If you do nothing else in your whole life, you're in the history books. Top 10 in Portrush. The summer is stretching out in front of you now. And on through next year, there's a little event in Lahinch in September. What are the goals?
Yeah.
Not just for this year, in general. It doesn't have to be golf ones. What does the dream look like? If everything goes right for Patrick Keeling, what does that actually mean to you?
Yeah, to be honest, it's weird. I used to have a lot of, big long-term goals, but I think for me, I'm more efficient if I just focus on my day-to-day things. And, I think a faith helps me in that, to kind of let go and let God, and, whatever happens, I know I'm going to be okay. So it's just, obviously I have that competition and I would like to do well, but, I don't need to do well. I don't need to achieve anything to feel, higher self-esteem or self-worth or make myself feel more important, So yeah, I mean, I'd love to play Walker Cup this year, whatever, 2 years. That's always been a dream. And then, hopefully have a career in professional golf and win a lot of tournaments. That would be amazing. But my self-worth definitely doesn't depend on those things happening. I'll say that. But it's nice to dream. And yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely is nice to dream. When you were 13, 14, like, was being in a golf scholarship, was that a dream? Do you know what I mean? So that's what life is for. We only have one of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it. The reward is, the journey is kind of the most important thing, or the funnest thing. If you're sitting back and you're analyzing and you're appreciating where you are right now, also with goals to kick on too. But yeah, definitely, me and Sean would obviously practice a lot together growing up, and we'd be on the putting green, this putt here's to win the 2031 Masters, or, all that stuff. And I think it's cool to have that, like, childlike ambition, but like faith, just like, I can do this, why not? I think, it's important to, just be a kid. You hear that a lot when you're playing golf. Bob Rotella talks about it. Just be a kid. And, my golf psychologist, Sean McGonigal, has been huge on that. And it's like, when I was really struggling last year, I remember a message he sent me, and he's like, why not change your framework what's your why with golf? Why not just make it that I play golf to have fun? I don't play golf to do anything but have fun. That's what drives me, what motivates me, because it's fun. As long as I keep it fun, it's going to give me the best chance of playing well and succeeding. So, yeah, there's been times where this game has not been fun or kind to me. It's rewarding when you have weeks like last week at Seapoint. It just makes it all worth it because no one sees what goes on behind closed doors. All the hours you put in, all the people that are there helping you. Even after me winning, everyone's congratulating me, but like there's so many people who poured into me hours and hours and hours and hours, and that they're all part of it as well. They're all part of that win. So it's cool looking back, definitely.
What did you have for breakfast on the Sunday morning?
I think I had the same thing every day. I'm pretty sure I had the breakfast I had the second round. I made sure to have that breakfast the next 2 days. I think I had just 2 slices of sourdough bread, like 4 scrambled eggs and a bit of black pudding and a cup of tea. So yeah, breakfast of champions.
I ask the key questions on this podcast, I ask the key questions.
Yeah,
Tiger
that's
at
an important
Arby's
one.
every night the week he won the Masters or something, So
Yeah, he's an anomaly. He can do what he wants.
so he can definitely do what he wants. Right, I've a new bit on the show, and these questions were blacked out, as you don't know what they were. I have asked a good friend of yours to ask you a question. Right, it's done another podcast,
Okay.
but this is from your good friend and friend of the podcast here, Hugh Foley. Right, made in Hollywood. Hugh says, "Hey Paddy, my real questions probably wouldn't make airtime. Golf-wise, did Patrick think of his senior cup winning 30-footer in Castle Golf Club in 2021 when he was standing over that putt in Seapoint?"
I actually did not, but everyone, Colin McGuinness, who he's at Roganstown, they've been so supportive of us over the years. He mentioned it, Sean mentioned it, and Hugh actually mentioned it that, they all just said, he's going to make this putt. Like they all said they knew it was going in. I was like, I didn't feel that way, but no, I think afterwards I was just so like in that present moment, but it was a very similar putt, left center. I think the one for the Senior Cup, that was a little bit longer, but pretty similar putts. And yeah, two of maybe the most euphoric moments I've had in my life. So yeah, pretty special.
Thank you, Mr. Foley. And just
He did, yeah. Thanks
from
you.
your brother
so much, yeah.
Sean, because I did ask Sean as well. What's more enjoyable, winning the Irish Am or finally getting family bragging rights?
Oh, that's a good question. That's like kind of a backhanded compliment from him there too, isn't
Careful,
it?
Ted.
I think winning the Irish Am, yeah. I think we're too mature now for any of that nonsense. But no, I root him on. He roots me on now. But still, I mean, we'll see if we get into competition and we're going head to wire. I don't think we'll be rooting each other on then. But for the most part, I hope he plays well, and I hope that I play better than him. That's kind of how it goes.
Now, that'll be some South of Ireland final, wouldn't it? Keeling versus Keeling. All the
Yeah,
strawberries.
not bad.
Come here to me. Quick fire Q&A. You ready?
I'm ready. Yeah, snappy, ready to go.
What would your walk-on song be?
Drift Away by Uncle Cracker. That's the one. Yeah.
Gym or pizza?
I'll say Jim. Yeah, I'll say Jim.
This is not a PR podcast. Gym or pizza, Mr. Keeling?
Short-term gratification pizza, long-term gin.
There you go. Good answer. Hat, visor, bucket hat, or beanie?
Definitely hat. Yeah, don't come near me with a visor for the most part. Except my teammate Clay in America. He wears it so well.
You need a bit of a flow. You need a bit of a flow to pull off the visor look, I think. You can't be rocking.
I don't. Yeah, you do.
With a reflection at the top of your head wearing visors.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore or Tin Cup?
Happy Gilmore. Yeah.
Walk or cart?
Walk.
Instagram, YouTube, or X, or the TikTok?
Instagram. Big Instagram
Play or
guy.
practice?
Yeah. Practice. I love figuring things out. Getting my coach in America and a couple of people are trying to get me to play more, but I love practicing. Yeah.
I love practicing, man. I love practicing so much. Last question. You're after a day, a great day. Okay. You're planning dinner and you can have whatever 6 people at the table with you. Family is dealt with the night before. Okay. So you can't be saying mom and dad and sister and Sean and Auntie Mary and Granny Donegal and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So whatever 6 people at the table, who makes the cut? 3 people down the right, 3 people down the left.
Okay. And it can be anyone in history?
Anyone, dead, alive, golfer, sports person, fictional. You can have Harry Potter there.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm going to have obviously I'm going to have Jesus, just to my right, just so I can shake his hand, kiss his feet.
There we go.
And then we'll have, close behind that, we'll have Rory McIlroy there. One of my golfing heroes growing up. And then I think and then on the end, we'll go for Michael Jordan. Big Michael Jordan fan. I think he's the best basketball player of all time. You got debates with LeBron and Michael Jordan, but yeah, I'm Michael Jordan for sure. And then on my left, I'll have David Goggins sitting there, nice and close to me too.
Sh-
He's been big
shouting at
inspiration. I
everyone.
love his stuff. Yeah, exactly. Who's going to carry the boats? And then we'll have Scotty Scheffler. We'll have Scotty Scheffler as well. A lot of golfers here. And then
It's okay.
who else would I go for?
Last spot.
Spot. I feel like I'll go with Elvis Presley. Go throw a musician in there just to mix it up. A little bit of a random group. I don't know if they get on, but I like all those people.
Patrick.
Yeah.
I think Elvis would have gone very well with Jesus.
Yeah, he's got a couple. He's got some gospel songs, I think, in there. Thank you very much, Paddy. It's great to be on.
Patrick,
Good chatting with you.
Thanks for your time. It's been really insightful. Seeing Mass in a scanner on the Sunday morning.
Yeah. I look forward to that, and the baked goods as well from your mother.
100%.